Right now at 5, as Mother Nature reminds the 4 states that winter is still here, one 4-state school lets out early to ensure students can get home safely.
We've got cameras across the area from MoDOT keeping an eye on the roadways. We'll tell you about the latest road conditions and when this winter storm is going to wrap up coming up.
And a fatal crash in Labette County, Kansas claims the life of a woman and a baby.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So we have had some snow. And it's a good wet snow, so temperatures are actually still up there across the area as well. So we still have an alert day for today as we continue to deal with the snowfall across the area. And I did want to take a moment and bring up those MoDOT cameras again. Thankfully, we were able to get into these here with a new setup with MoDOT. Let me get to it. There we go. So we can pull up either one at a time or several. And right now we're looking at a number of locations: 7th and Garden Grove, 20th and Range Line, 32nd and Range Line, and then the MoDOT camera I-44 and Range Line looking back north. So as you can see, roads across the area look wet. There is some slushy stuff out there, and that's the deceiving part, especially if you look at the one at 20th and Range Line. You can see in the that right turn island that there's some slushy stuff out there, and that is still pretty slick. So make sure you slow down, give yourself plenty of time, because the roads may appear to be clear in some areas, but that slushy stuff will definitely send you for a little bit of a ride. All right, we still have the alert day today. The winter storm is going to start to wrap up. As you can see on the Skywatch Storm Tracker, snow is a little harder for radar to detect. So it is still snowing, say, for example, in Joplin, and Tanya mentioned up around Pittsburgh, there's still some light snow falling. We still have winter storm warnings for the counties in pink through 9 a.m. and winter weather advisories for the blue counties through at least 10 a.m. And this is all part of an expansive system bringing winter weather and severe weather across the nation. Now, again, this system starts to exit out of here by about 8, 9 o'clock, and then we'll actually have a pretty decent day. We're mostly cloudy, and we're going to be a little bit warmer. 32 in Joplin with the light snow, feels like 24 right now. Across the region, that's about where we're sitting. We got that northerly breeze. 32 Fort Scott, Iola, Pittsburgh, 33 Parsons, Chatopa, 34 Miami, 32 in Carthage, Lamar, and Nevada this morning. So looking at all of those MoDOT cameras, you can see that there are still slick spots. That's why we do have a red light for your morning commute. We've got the light snow continuing. Do slow down, give yourself plenty of time to get where you're going, and even as plow crews work, we're still putting up a yellow light for an evening commute, as we could still see some slick spots out there. Some schools have canceled, a number of them still in session, so we're looking at 31 and some light snow with the bus pickup time at 7 a.m., 40 by 3 o'clock, and we're heading for a high of about 40 degrees today under those mostly cloudy skies. Also a bit breezy. We'll take a complete look at your forecast, recap the storm so far, and show you what's going to happen over the next several days, because this is not our only chance of wintry weather here in just a few minutes.
I think my boys were hoping for a little bit more snow because their schools have not canceled yet.
Ours have not yet either down in Joplin, and as you saw, I mean, the roads are slick, but they're drivable at this point in some areas. So.
I think the big help to that was the fact that the temperature stayed up, so it melted a lot of stuff. So. Right,
but at the same time, that slushy stuff, you hit a patch of that, it's pretty slick, so be careful out there.
Be careful. Definitely be careful. Be aware. All right, thanks, Chris. Well, on Tuesday, authorities in Cherokee County, Kansas arrested a juvenile wanted for homicide out of Georgia. The suspect was wanted out of Henry County for felony murder, homicide by vehicle in the first degree, attempting to elude police, and felony theft. Officers found the suspect in a home in Baxter Springs and arrested him after 3 hours of asking him to come out. Authorities are waiting to extradite the suspect back to Georgia. A woman at the house was also arrested. A crash in southeast Kansas claims the life of a woman and a baby and injures 2 others. The head-on crash happened on US 400 Monday night, about 4 miles west of US 59 in Labette County, Kansas. Authorities say 30-year-old Valerie Montgomery of Parsons was driving west on US 400 when she went left of the center and hit another car head-on. She and her baby in the car died from the crash. The baby was less than a year old. 2 people in the other car were injured. One suffered minor injuries and the other suffered a suspected serious injury. And there were 3 minors in that car as well, but there is no word on injuries. One school district in southwest Missouri dismissed early on Tuesday ahead of the expected snowfall. KOAM's Carrie Worthen was in Pineville to find out how that county was preparing.
With winter weather on the way, McDonald County school leaders want to keep students, faculty, and staff all safe.
Our school district is a little different than other ones in the area because we cover such a wide range of not only miles but also terrain. There's 420 some odd miles of school district that we cover.
They're not the only ones preparing. The MoDOT office in Anderson is making sure all 10 of its trucks are ready for anything that comes, with salt trucks out to take care of the roads.
We watch our local TV stations and consult with some local forecasters as well to see what is expected. We'll drive routes to make sure that that they're safe, and if there's any kind of a situation where there's unsafe conditions, they'll call school.
School officials meet about 4 a.m. to decide if it's safe to have school.
We have close to 300 kids that travel to the high school by car, and so we want to make sure that they get home as well, because a lot of them are coming from rural areas too. So there's all kinds of factors that go into making sure that we get these kids home safely and these students home safely.
In McDonald County, Carrie Worthen, KOAM News.
To look at closings in the area, you can head over to KOAMnewsnow.com/closings. You can also watch the KOAM News throughout the morning show to see closings as well. And you can be the first to know of school closings as well as other schools with the KOAM News Now app. It's available free of charge where you get your apps. Just search for the KOAM News app. You can also continue to watch the KOAM Morning Show to see a list of closings in the area, as I just said. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, the Lady Panthers are on a hot streak during this basketball season. Last night, they put their 11-0 record on the line against Frontenac. We'll have more details in sports. Plus, a mother with 4 kids felt her youngest child was being left out because of his autism. But thanks to music therapy, that's changing. And a new study reveals women, the elderly, and those of low income are more likely to use sleeping pills. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
Well, the Colgan girls basketball team is off to an 11-0 start and ranked number 2 in the state in Class 2A. Over the weekend, the Panthers won the Tony Dubray Classic in Liberal. They're back to CNC action with a big one at home against Frontenac. Panthers up 15 at half, but Frontenac starts chipping away. Mia Brown drives baseline and lays it off the glass. She scores 11 for the Raiders. Then Hattie Pyle, working inside, knocks it home. Pyle also with 11. Frontenac gets it to single digits, but Colgan never let them back in. Panthers go inside to Lily Brown. Easy 2 for her. Brown leads the Panthers with 20. Lauren Torrance on the far side. 1 dribble. Jumper is good. 14 for Torrance. Colgan gets the lead back to 13. Going to the 4th, final quarter. Brown leading the break. Gets it to Mariah Harris for the finish, and Colgan gets to 12-0, beating Frontenac 56-41. To the boys game now. Frontenac trying to earn the split on the road. The Raiders get it done, pulling away from the Panthers and winning by 20, 60-44. Missouri Southern Lions split a doubleheader with the Lincoln Blue Tigers on Monday. On the women's side, the Lions led from start to finish, beating Lincoln 84-45. Monday's win was the 5th straight for the Lions and puts them at 17-4 overall this season. Lacey Stokes scored a team-high 15 points for Southern. Lions had 4 players in double figures, including Stokes, but also last night was the 4th time this season that all 12 players who suited up scored for Missouri Southern.
We did a great job of sharing the basketball. I think we had 20 assists or 18 assists on 28 made field goals. You know, anytime you can get those type of numbers, that's a big plus, and it shows that your kids are doing a good job of seeing each other. And then, of course, making shots. I think it's maybe the first time we shot over 50% in about 8 or 9 games. So if we can start shooting the ball like that and then continue to guard, we'll give ourselves a chance to win most games.
On the men's side on Monday, the Lions raced a 15-point deficit against Lincoln, but came up a little short in the end, 84-82. All 5 starters were in double figures, led by Christian Bundy and his 17 points. The problem was the Blue Tigers out-rebounded Southern 37-18, and according to the Lions, Lincoln was just tougher Monday night.
I think we just came out flat, kind of soft. And teams, they see us as a tough team, so if we come out soft, teams are going to out-tough us. And so then we were just playing catch-up in the second half, and I think we got up 5 within like 7 minutes left, and we just couldn't hold the lead.
They were really crashing offensive glass on the offensive end, and we just couldn't box them out. And we talked about going to the game. We know that's their game plan, and all 5 guys rebounded. We just didn't do that tonight, especially in the first half, and that's how they got up. And then we turned it up a little bit in the second half, got the lead, and just relaxed again. And that's just not being tough enough, and Lincoln was definitely tough enough tonight.
Columbus High School girls wrestling team has been one of the best in the state all season long. The Titans are ranked 3rd in the state as a team and have 5 girls ranked individually in their respective weight classes. Columbus wrestling at home against the Independence Bulldogs. Here we go. At 140 pounds, Katie Simpson going to work for the Titans. Shoots and gets 2 for the takedown. Then Simpson trying to finish this thing off, and she would. Simpson gets the win by fall late in the first period. 155 now, Gracie Major gets the nice takedown here. She would also finish off her match and win by fall. Columbus in control of this one all night. Great one coming up here for at 170. Taryn Billings for the Titans, down 6-2 going to the final period. She battles back and gets a pin to win, but this night was about Addie Saporito, the Columbus senior, ranked 3rd in the state at 120, won her match by fall, and that win was number 100 in her high school career. Columbus wins big. Saporito becomes the first girls wrestler in Columbus history to reach 100 career wins.
I knew it was like one of my goals at the beginning of the season, so I've been counting down. It means a lot. It's kind of my goal to make history and to be something that younger girls can look up to. So we have a lot to still accomplish this year, and I think it really pushes all of us.
Still to come, some Italian friars tap into their inner child and decide to have a snowball fight. We're going to take another look at your forecast, including the 7-day when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. A look at the MoDOT cameras from around the metro area. You can see the roads are wet, and there's also some slush out there as well. This is at near 7th and Garden Grove. You can see it. Let me step back to this side at 20th and Rangeline. This is looking back east, right here in that right turn lane. And then again, wet roads out here at 32nd and Rangeline looking back east, and same on Rangeline looking back north toward 36th Street. And that slush is slicker than it looks. The road crews are doing an excellent job, but that slush, if you hit a good patch of it, just be cautious. Be slow, drive slowly, be careful, because that slush can really mess you up out there. Otherwise, roads are doing all right on the main roads. Now, I'll be honest, on my way in, I take some back roads to get up here. Some of those back roads and side roads aren't really all that clear yet, so just slow down, give yourself plenty of time. So far, we still have the alert day through today. The winter storm is going to start wrapping up. Now, again, snow is a little harder to detect on radar. We've still got some light snow across the area, but this is going to start to wrap up. Still have winter storm warnings for the counties in pink through at least 9 a.m. and winter weather advisories for the other counties through at least 9 a.m. Those could be canceled a little bit early. They may go ahead and continue through 9. This storm should start wrapping up between 8 and 9, and it'll exit on out of here. Behind it, it'll leave mostly cloudy skies, but we're actually looking pretty good for today. We're at 32 in Joplin, still some light snow, feeling like 24. Across the region, again, some of us got some light snow, some of us it stopped. 34 Chanute, Miami, 33 Neosho, 32 in Carthage. And again, on the commuter cast, a red light for your morning drive as we've got the slick roads and some light snow, and a yellow light for the drive home for possibly some additional slick spots out there as well. Kids getting on the bus, because a lot of them still have school. Joplin, you still have school today as well. 31 at 7 a.m., some light snow. 40, mostly cloudy by 3 o'clock, and I did want to quickly get to the 7-day. We're all right for Thursday and Friday. We actually get pretty mild, and then 52 Saturday, and that rain still turning into a wintry mix overnight down to 25, 29 Sunday. Another break Monday, and then an additional shot of wintry weather by next Tuesday. Well, a program in Minnesota is not only giving a group of special children a safe space, but also giving them a way to express themselves with music. Babs Santos takes us there.
Classes like this are vital for kids like Cooper.
Kate Swenson's 12-year-old son Cooper has finally found a place to be himself. The 6th grader has autism and is nonverbal, so while his 3 siblings have been kept busy with sports, play dates, and birthday parties, his mom felt her 4th child was a little left out, at least until now.
This has been just so fun. We're with his peers, he's engaging, he's growing up, next to his typically developing peers just in his own way. And watching him blossom with his peers is amazing.
At the 3rd of 4 music therapy sessions this month in Woodbury, Cooper and 14 other young children were able to shine in their own way, having fun while working hard to improve skills relied on each and every day.
Working on fine motor, gross motor skills, interaction, imitation.
And the list goes on. Playing these instruments, the children are getting better at sharing and taking turns while controlling their impulses. It's all possible thanks to the work of Erica Rupp with Notable Music Therapy. Now, these kids are growing in the face of different disabilities.
So we've got autism, we've got ADHD, we've got anxiety.
When this set of 4 sessions ends, already another one is planned for February.
I encourage families, even if you're scared, get out and try a class like this.
That brings us to our question for you this morning. Do you feel that therapy is important? Yes or no? You can vote through our website, through our app, take part in discussion on our Facebook page, and we'll be back with Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, losing weight now could help you stay stronger later in life. Researchers in Norway say that those who struggle with obesity during middle age are twice as likely to become frail as an older adult than those who stay more trim. The study looked at 4,500 people over the age of 45 who were monitored for an average of 21 years. They say those who struggled with their weight during the middle of the life were more prone to falls, being admitted to the hospital, disability, a reduced quality of life, and higher risk of death. Well, certain groups of people are more likely to use medication to help them sleep, and that's according to a survey released Wednesday from the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. It found that roughly 8% of U.S. adults reported taking sleep medication every day or on most days. Women were most likely to use the drugs as well as older adults and lower income individuals. Researchers define sleep medication use as taking any prescription or over-the-counter medication to help fall or stay asleep. Experts warn that using sleeping medication every day can lead to problems such as tolerance or dependence. Studies also showed that usage was highest among older adults, who are 5 times more likely to have memory and concentration issues and 4 times more likely to experience daytime fatigue and sleepiness. Let's look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
We've still got some wet and slushy roads across the 4-state area as the snow begins to taper off. We're going to talk more about the winter storm as it exits the area when we come back.
Right now at 5:30, as Mother Nature reminds the 4 states that winter is still here, one 4-state school lets out early to ensure students can get home safely.
We're keeping an eye on MoDOT cameras across the metro area where we still have wet roads and some slushy spots. We'll talk about when the snow wraps up and what today looks like coming up.
And a fatal crash in Labette County, Kansas claims the life of a woman and a baby.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's now 5:28. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So Mother Nature delivered on the snow, but so far not nearly as much snow in some areas as we had anticipated, but we still got snow anyway. Doug Hetty was messaging me this morning, says he's observed about 2.5 inches where he's at, and that's about what I'd say was on top of my car this morning. We've been keeping an eye on the MoDOT cameras around the metro area. You can see for sure the roads are absolutely wet, but if you take a good close look, it's a little easier to see on the top 2 cameras, the one at 7th and Garden Grove and the one at 20th and Rangeline. You can see there's still plenty of slushy spots out there, and those slushy spots are a bit on the slick side. We still have an alert day for today as this winter storm begins to wrap up. Radar showing heavier snow to our east, but we are still seeing some light snow across the region. We do have those winter storm warnings in the pink that still continue through 9 a.m. and the winter weather advisories through at least 9 a.m. as well. This system will start to let up and exit out of here by around 9 o'clock this morning from west to east, and then we'll be left with mostly cloudy skies and breezy conditions, but mild. But then we are watching another system as we head into this weekend that'll bring us some rain and another potential round of some wintry weather. We're at 32 in Joplin, still some light snow. You can see the wet roads at 7th and Range Line, north-northwest breeze at 9, making it feel like 24. Across the region, it is technically above average despite the snow. 32 Iola, Fort Scott, Nevada, Lamar, Pittsburgh, and Carthage. 33 Chetopa, 34 Miami, and 33 in Anderson this morning. Look at those MoDOT cameras across the Joplin area, still showing those wet roads. That's why we do have a red light for your morning drive with the light snow continuing and slick spots out there, and a yellow light for your drive home. We're going to warm up. Plow crew's doing an excellent job. There could still be some slick spots, especially on rural roads and some of the side streets. Kids getting on the bus, we're looking at 31 at 7 a.m. and some light snow because not everybody's school has been canceled today. And then we're looking at 40 by 3 o'clock, and that's our high for today, mostly cloudy and breezy. And then tonight we drop back down to 22 for our overnight low. Clouds will start to clear, but with it being 22, we want to remind you again, especially on rural roads and side streets that may not necessarily get cleared and may not see a lot of melting. Some of this stuff could refreeze tonight, leading to some extra slick spots tomorrow morning, so just take it easy out there. And again, it's slick this morning as well. Slow down, give yourself plenty of time to get where you're going.
You definitely don't want to follow too closely behind vehicles, too.
Absolutely. And watch out for those slushy spots because they can really mess with you.
All right. Thanks, Chris. Well, as Mother Nature reminds the 4 states that winter is here, our very own Amber Jenkins is live out in Joplin to bring you coverage. Good morning, Amber.
Good morning, Tanya. I'm down here at 7th and Range Line in Joplin, and so far what I'm seeing, the roads are very slushy, as Chris said, but when I was driving to work today and I was on the roads, I did notice some black ice, and I'm telling you, it is very unforgiving. So far, I am seeing some cars driving slow and with caution. However, there are a few that aren't. I just want to remind everyone to be cautious, not of just the road, but of each other. I also noticed chunks of snow is falling off of the vehicles as well as they're driving, and the vehicles behind them are trying to manage as the falling snow is coming. But so far, if everybody is cautious, I'm pretty sure we're going to have a manageable winter storm here.
And like Chris mentioned, only a handful of schools have actually canceled today, and Joplin is not on the list, so there's going to be a lot of traffic out there this morning. Any recommendations for those that are about to hit the road to go to school this morning?
Well, definitely layer up, bundle up, and wear some gloves. I'm definitely wearing these gloves out here, and I have to say it is a saving grace along with the hand warmers. So I definitely recommend layering up before you head out to school or work.
Don't let your kids fight it. All right, thank you so much, Amber. We'll check in with you in about 30 minutes. All right. Well, McDonald County School District let out early Tuesday due to the wintry weather. Officials say there's about 60 bus routes that take students home, plus some students drive or get picked up. And school leaders say it made sense to dismiss early to help keep everyone safer.
Even in perfect conditions, it can be tricky on these rural routes that they have to travel. There's a lot of dirt roads, there's a lot of hills, there's a lot of curves, and so even in the best of weather conditions, it's still a tricky job to do, and our buses do a great job.
Now, McDonald County did decide to cancel school for today. Well, a crash in southeast Kansas claims the life of a woman and baby and injures 2 others. The head-on crash happened on US 400 Monday night, about 4 miles west of US 59 in Labette County, Kansas. Authorities say 30-year-old Valerie Montgomery of Parsons was driving west on US 400 when she went left of the center and hit another car head-on. She and her baby, the baby in the car, died from the crash. Now, the baby was less than a year old. 2 people in the other car were injured. One suffered minor injuries and the other suffered a suspected serious injury. There were 3 minors in that car as well, but there's no word on injuries. On Tuesday, authorities in Cherokee County, Kansas arrested a juvenile wanted for homicide out of Georgia. Suspect was wanted out of Henry County for felony murder, homicide by vehicle in the first degree, attempting to elude police, and felony theft. Officers found the suspect in a home in Baxter Springs and arrested him after 3 hours of asking him to come out. Authorities are waiting to extradite the suspect back to Georgia. A woman at the house was also arrested. Well, this morning, we're discussing therapy.
Kate Swinson's 12-year-old son, Cooper, has finally found a place to be himself. The sixth grader has autism and is nonverbal. So while his 3 siblings have been kept busy with sports, play dates, and birthday parties, his mom felt her 4th child was a little left out, at least until now. At the 3rd of 4 music therapy sessions this month, Cooper and 14 other young children were able to shine in their own way, having fun while working hard to improve skills relied on each and every day.
They worked on fine motor skills, gross motor skills, interaction, imitation, and so much more. The children are getting better at sharing and taking turns while controlling their impulses. And now these kids are growing in the face of different disabilities.
That brings us to our question for you this morning. Do you feel that therapy is important? Right now, we've got an even split. 50% of you say it is. 50% of you say it is not. So make sure you take time to vote through our website, through our app, and of course, take part in the discussion on our Facebook page.
All right, yeah. And it's pretty awesome. Like Joplin has the Bill and Virginia Leffen Center for Autism, and then they're actually building one right now. Victory Life Church in Pittsburgh is building an autism center.
It's great to see these resources become available in the community, because there's a number of kids out there that need these resources. And I mean, I know growing up, I did not need the resources, but I had friends in school that did, and we didn't have the ability to take care of some of the things that we can today.
That's right. All right, well, that's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News, we meet 2 kids from Wichita who ensure their neighborhood stays clean.
Plus, an iceberg almost the size of London has broken off from an ice shelf in Antarctica. We'll have the latest.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Topping World Watch, even friars just want to have some fun. The brothers at the Basilica of St. Francis of Assisi in Italy went out to play in the snow on Monday. Brother Raphael Normando telling the brothers, quote, "Sister Snow has arrived and she's perfect for snowballs." The brothers had a snowball fight and also made some snow angels. Heavy snowfall hit the area over the weekend, creating picturesque landscapes. But as snow does, it also caused inconveniences to residents, with blocked roads and closed schools. They found a way to have fun. Well, Germany reportedly aids Ukraine in their battle against Russia. According to reports, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz said on Tuesday he would be sending Leopard 2 battle tanks to Ukraine. Reports say at least 1 company of tanks, which is usually comprised of 14 tanks, will be taken from the German army's stock and given to Ukrainian troops. The move paves the way for Poland to follow suit, the country formally asking Germany to allow them to send Leopard tanks to Ukraine. Ukrainian officials have reached out numerous times to foreign nations asking for help over the last several months. Well, the U.S. may be ready to send M1 Abrams tanks to Ukraine. Pentagon officials say details are still being worked out, and it may take months or years for the equipment to be delivered to Ukraine. It's also unknown at this time how many tanks would be approved. The U.S. announcement is expected as early as Wednesday, and many expect a German announcement at the same time, approving Poland's request to transfer those German-made Leopard 2 tanks to Kyiv. Now, the U.S. has resisted providing its own M1 Abrams tanks to Ukraine, citing extensive and complex maintenance and logistical challenges with the high-tech vehicles. Officials in Washington believe it would be more productive to send German Leopards, since many allies have them and Ukrainian troops would need less training than on more difficult Abrams. Well, outgoing New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern walks out of Parliament Wednesday for the last time as that nation's leader. Ardern left the Parliament building known as the Beehive with partner Clark Gaylord. She was greeted by a large group of well-wishers upon her exit. A 42-year-old announced she was stepping down on January 18th, saying she, quote, no longer had enough in the tank to do the job. Chip Hickens will be sworn in as the nation's new prime minister on Wednesday. Well, an iceberg almost the size of London breaks off an ice shelf in Antarctica. Take a look at these satellite images from the Brunt ice shelf. The iceberg almost looks perforated, and through the time lapse, it begins to separate and separate more until it completely breaks off. You can compare the difference in the before and after photos. Now, the break is impressive considering the Brunt ice shelf is almost 500 feet thick. This latest development does not come as a surprise, though. Researchers first detected a vast crack developing in the area a decade ago. Now, the most recent iceberg breakoff is the second major one of its kind from the ice shelf within the last 2 years. Well, they are among the most popular exhibits in museums worldwide. With a name so resonant, blockbuster films have been built on it. And we're talking about mummies. But some museums in Britain are now using different words to describe their displays of ancient Egyptian human remains, adopting terms like mummified person or using the individual's name. This is to emphasize they were once living people. London's British Museum and the Great North Museum told CNN that using the term mummified remains can encourage visitors to think of the individual who once lived. Well, Britain's Princess Eugenie is pregnant with her second child. Eugenie is King Charles's niece and 11th in line to the British throne. She married Jack Brooksbank at Windsor Castle in 2018. The couple has one son, August. Buckingham Palace said in a Tuesday statement, quote, "The family is delighted and August is very much looking forward to being a big brother." Well, a lot of folks used the COVID lockdown to learn something new, but few accomplished what a talented toddler in the UK managed to pull off. CBS's Ian Lee has his story.
Teddy Hobbs just might be the brainiest little boy in Britain. For one, the 4-year-old could count to 100 before he was 2. Now he can do it in 7 languages.
But I just assumed, every child has their own quirk. Each child develops slightly quicker in something else than the other ones, and we just assumed that was his thing.
The clever kid found his love of learning during lockdown, wanting to watch only educational shows.
What are you cutting it out to make?
A shape of Kenya.
His brilliance caught the attention of Mensa,
Has qualified for.
and he became their youngest member in the UK. The High IQ Society only accepts people who score in the 98th percentile or higher on an intelligence test.
So he was 3 years and 7 months, and it said his letter and word recognition was at 8 years and 10 months.
Teddy's impressive report card includes teaching himself to read at 2 years old.
Teddy has done all of this himself. When we go out and we give him the option of a treat, he wants a book rather than chocolate.
Despite being a boy genius, he's still just a boy.
He's absolutely a normal 4-year-old boy. He finds poo really funny.
That's not my bee.
His family wonders if Teddy's younger sister will follow in his footsteps. Those are some big, or rather little shoes to fill. Ian Lee, CBS News, London.
A 2-year-old girl from Kentucky is the youngest child to join Mensa here in the U.S. And that's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, we still have some light snow falling around the area, and we have been left with some wet, slushy roads. Taking a look at the MoDOT cameras around the Joplin area, 7th and Garden Grove, you can see that the roads are clearly wet. And if you look close enough, these dark swashes here, that's some of that slushy stuff that's out there. We look at 20th and Range Line, again, wet roads and slushy conditions, especially, say, here in that right turn island. Then take a look down at 32nd and Range Line, looking back east. The roads are wet down there as well. And then back at the I-44 and Range Line camera, it's looking north toward 36th Street. Some wet and slushy conditions. Now, I've run into several plow crews on my way here this morning. They're doing a fantastic job, but the roads are wet. They are slick, and that slushy stuff, you got to watch out for. It's a little deceiving out there, so slow down. Give yourself plenty of time to get where you're going. Heavier snow now moving off to our east. The radar has a hard time detecting snow because it's so light, but there is still some light snow falling across the region. We're still dealing with winter storm warnings for the counties in pink through at least 9 a.m. Everybody else in the purple, these are winter weather weather advisories that run through 9 a.m. and northeast Oklahoma counties were taken out of the winter storm warning overnight. We'll see this start to exit between about 8 and 9 this morning. It'll start to let up, and then we'll be left with mostly cloudy skies and breezy conditions, but it's what's coming in down the road that we're keeping an eye on this weekend. So we're dry all the way through Saturday, when we'll see a system that will bring us some rain Saturday evening, and as temperatures drop, that could change over to a wintry mix, maybe even some additional light snow. Right now in Joplin, we're looking at 32, feels like 24 with some light snow still falling out there, and around the region, we are technically above average. Even though it snowed, we're above average. We got 32s in a lot of places. Iola, Fort Scott, Nevada, Lamar, Carthage, Monette, Neosho. We got 34 in Miami and Chatopa, and 33 in Parsons as we start the day. Again, those MoDOT cameras showing some wet conditions, and that's why we do have a red light for your morning drive, as we still have some light snow expected through the morning. And of course, we have the wet, slushy roads out there. So slow down, give yourself plenty of time to get where you're going. We got a yellow light for your evening drive, because we will warm up. We'll be mostly cloudy, but there could still be some slick spots out there, so be careful. Not everybody is out of school today, so those that are going to school, some light snow this morning, 31 by 7 a.m. with the north breeze gusting up to 20. Gusty winds again this afternoon, but we're mostly cloudy, and 40 by 3 o'clock. And 40 is our expected high in Joplin. We'll reach into the upper 30s today for most of us, mostly cloudy and breezy. And tonight we drop back down to a low of 22. So clouds will start to clear out as well. The big concern with dropping down to 22 is especially for some of the rural roads and side streets within the cities that don't necessarily get treated today. They could be pretty slick come tomorrow morning with a lot of refreezing. So do be careful with your morning drive tomorrow. Our alert day wraps up this morning. Then we're looking good Thursday and Friday, up to 48, 52 Saturday. Then we have that wintry system coming in. We drop down to 25, only muster 29 by Sunday. We're all right by Monday, and then another system Tuesday into Wednesday morning brings us another shot of wintry weather. And then after that, we get cold, down to 13 on Wednesday, 27 Thursday, down to 5. We only make it to 16 by next Friday. We're back with more right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. A crash in southeast Kansas claims the life of a woman and baby and injures 2 others. The head-on crash happened on US 400 Monday night, about 4 miles west of US 59 in Labette County, Kansas. Authorities say 30-year-old Valerie Montgomery of Parsons was driving west on US 400 when she went left of the center and hit another car head-on. She and the baby in the car died from the crash. The baby was less than a year old. 2 people in the other car were injured. One suffered minor injuries and the other suffered a suspected serious injury. There were 3 minors in that car as well, but there is no word on injuries. On Tuesday, the Joplin Chamber of Commerce kicked off its 30th annual Business Expo. Nearly 110 exhibitors were on hand at Downstream Casino Resort. Tuesday focused on connecting businesses with each other, and today will give consumers a chance to check out those businesses. Well, some Southeast Kansas future business leaders had a chance to showcase their skills on Tuesday. The Girard High School Future Business Leaders of America hosted a competition at Pitt State. 330 students from 18 schools competed in a wide variety of business-related and workplace events, and some students got a jump start. The Joplin Salvation Army is at 72% of its fundraising goal to keep the program running. The nonprofit organization says it's $126,000 shy of its $450,000 goal. If they don't meet the goal, they will have to make adjustments. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Well, in Kansas, some young volunteers decided to take matters into their own hands when they didn't like seeing trash in their Wichita community. Stephanie Manichi shows us what they're doing to make a difference.
When Zamora Blackman and Carlito Hill are not solving math problems or completing reading assignments, they're picking up trash.
I want to take pride in my community and make sure we have a clean neighborhood, so when we're driving home, we don't have to look at all the dirtiness.
Instead of complaining, they took action.
Every time we drive by, we see dirtiness, so we would go inside, get a bag, and come outside. And then we would pick up all the trash around the block.
These two credit their grandmother for their desire to clean up and have since influenced others.
We actually inspired our neighbor to help us clean up, and now he cleans up his own garage.
Within 10 minutes, they almost filled both bags, which at times includes empty liquor bottles. Frustrated Zamora has a quick tip for everyone in her neighborhood.
I just really want to let them know it's always okay to clean up your community.
And just as her grandmother influenced her, she's already enlisted her little brothers in her cleanup training camp.
Cleanup training camp. That sounds like fun. Carlito and Zamora are hoping to inspire even more people to help keep their neighborhoods clean. We'll be right back.
All right, we've been watching the winter storm through the overnight and into this morning. Let's talk about what we've got for the rest of the day. The winter storm, the snow will start to really clear out by about 8, 9 o'clock. We're looking at 40 for a high. A lot of us into the upper 30s, a breezy day and mostly cloudy. And as we head into tonight, they get a little bit of a concern. As we drop back down to the lower 20s and we start to see clear skies, we're looking at the possibility of refreezing of some of this, especially on side streets in the cities and rural roads out there that may not necessarily get treated today. So as you start your day tomorrow morning, do be aware of that. Take your time, and take your time this morning as well, as we've got plenty of slick spots. We're all right Thursday and Friday up to 48, even Saturday 52, then some evening rain transitioning to a wintry mix, and that'll last into Sunday morning, only 29 down to 18, 37 Monday down to 23. We're 37 Tuesday, another wintry system possible into Wednesday morning, and then look at this, down to 13 Wednesday night, 27 Thursday, down to 5, and only 16 by next Friday. So we got some cold weather coming. We're back with more right after this.
Right now at 6, winter weather blankets the 4 states overnight. We've got extended weather coverage all morning long, including live looks from Joplin with our own Amber Jenkins.
We've got live looks at the MoDOT cameras around the metro area. We're looking at wet roads. We're looking at some slushy roads. We'll talk about those road conditions and our forecast for today coming up.
And participants could find the treasure of 110 exhibitors at the 30th Annual Business Expo.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. I'm Tanya Buck.
I'm Chris Warner. Just after 6 o'clock on a snowy Tuesday. It's Wednesday. Wednesday morning. So, hey, look at that, though. We've made it halfway through the work week.
Yes, we have.
And we are starting it with some slick conditions out there. Taking a look at the MoDOT cameras around the Joplin metro area, you can see the roads are wet. They're also a bit slushy. You can see some of that slushiness on the top 2 cameras especially. It really shows up well. The 7th and Garden Grove, and then over at 20th and Rangeline looking back east. So make sure you slow down, give yourself plenty of time to get where you're going, because if you run into some of those slushy patches, that could cause you to lose control this morning. Still getting some light snow around the area, but most of the snow the radar can detect has moved out. Hey, take a look. Things have been scaled back. We don't have winter weather advisories now for Arkansas, Oklahoma, and much of southeast Kansas. Those have been dropped. The remaining ones still run through about 9 a.m. Same with the winter storm warnings for the counties in pink through about 9 a.m. But I suspect these will start to get dropped as this system exits out. And it'll stop. It should really start to let up and be out of here by about 8, 9 o'clock this morning. Then we'll be left with some mostly cloudy skies and breezy conditions. Now 32 in Joplin, still seeing some light snow, and occasionally we can still see the flakes on our camera at 7th and Rangeline. Feels like 25 though, and it's going to be a chilly one with the wind today. We're at 32 in Iola, Fort Scott, Nevada, Lamar, Carthage, Monette, Neosho. A lot of 32s. 33 in Parsons, 34 in Chanute, Chatopa, and Miami this morning. So again, we do have the slick spots out there. So for your morning drive, we have a red light. We want you to take it slow, take it easy. Do not rush to where you're getting, as we'll see the light snow start to let up across the area. And we're putting a yellow light up for your evening drive, as we could still have some slick spots, even though we'll be a bit warmer. You want to watch out, especially on side roads and rural roads. A lot of kids still have school today. For those that do, it's going to be about 31 getting on the bus this morning with some of that light snow hanging on. By this afternoon, up to about 40 by 3 o'clock, mostly cloudy with a gusty northwesterly breeze. Up to 40 in Joplin, most of us getting into the upper 30s today, again, mostly cloudy. And as we head into this evening, this is where we have a little bit of concern. We drop back down to 22 and the clouds begin to clear out. So we lose that blanket that keeps some of the warmer temperatures in. That said, we're going to be well below freezing here. Any untreated roads or slick spots that are still out there could refreeze tonight. So you want to make sure tomorrow morning and tonight that you're taking it easy as well, and watch out especially for black ice out there. Amber mentioned that earlier this morning around 5:30 that she encountered some black ice, and black ice is one of the biggest dangers with winter weather because you don't see it until you hit it. So just give yourself plenty of time. Outside of that, we're good for Thursday, Friday, even into the first part of Saturday, up to 52. Rain moves in. That system brings us a wintry mix Saturday night into Sunday. We get cold after that, and then we have another possibility of some wintry precipitation next Tuesday, and after that, we get downright cold. It gets absolutely cold out there. So we'll keep an eye on those two systems as they move in. This one is on its way out, and then we'll be mild for a couple of days before winter settles right back in.
All right. Well, it's definitely cold out there, and people need to take care because there's, like Amber mentioned earlier, a little bit of black ice.
Yeah, and with the slush out there, that slush piles up, and you hit it at the at a high speed, you can easily lose control on that. Even though the rest of the road may look clear, you hit a patch of slush and it could knock you out of control there. So just slow down, give yourself plenty of time.
Yeah, and my concern tonight is when there's a lot of moisture out there in that snow, and when it freezes tonight, when it melts and then freezes tonight, because it is going to get colder tonight, it's going to be slick this evening when it gets dark again.
Yes, it certainly will. So again, just caution is in order.
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, our own Amber Jenkins is braving the conditions live in Joplin. And how do those roads look now, Amber?
Good morning, Tanya. And the roads are looking pretty okay so far. It's looked like it was at 5 a.m. The roads are pretty soggy, but like I said before, it's the black ice that we really need to keep a mind for, because the sogginess and the looking at the snow, it looks like it's melting on the road and it looks a little unintimidating. But when I was driving today, I felt some of the black ice and I was like, oh my goodness. So I definitely want to warn everybody, be mindful while driving, take it slow, give yourself some extra time like Chris said. And so far I noticed those flurries kind of lighten up as well. So maybe is lighting up as well, or maybe like Chris said, it's going to really end up getting a little better around 8 or 9 today.
Okay, so the conditions are still kind of slushy as you send your kids off to school this morning for the ones who do have school. So recommendations for attire for those kids and for anybody who's heading out the door right now.
All my recommendations is to bundle up. Definitely put on layers. Definitely wear a coat, of course. I did see some people in a t-shirt. Okay, that's pretty shocking. But I definitely want to recommend everyone bundle up, wear multiple layers. Okay, it's very cold out here. Definitely make sure your kids are wearing gloves, because that's also something they'll like to nag or fight you on. But definitely wear some gloves.
All right, and don't forget that hat as well. All right, thank you so much, Amber. Well, Missouri Governor Mike Parson signed an executive order ahead of the winter weather. The order activates the Missouri National Guard, and they will be brought in to help local authorities responding to winter weather calls. The new order will expire at the end of February unless terminated earlier on, extended. And you can be the first to know of school closings as well as other closings with the KOAM News Now app. It's available free of charge wherever you get your apps. Just search for the KOAM News app. You can also watch the KOAM Morning Show to see a list of closings in the area. The Joplin Chamber of Commerce holds its 30th annual Business Expo. The Business Expo is at the Downstream Casino Resort Pavilion. It's the region's largest annual business showcase with about 110 exhibitors. The two-day event features a business-to-business day and a business-to-consumer day. And if you're wondering why people are dressed as pirates, well, it's because of the theme this year. Find your treasure in Joplin. Expo marks the spot. Get it? Expo? X?
For members of the Chamber to come out and mingle with other members of the Chamber. We're grateful for the Freeman Health System and Downstream Casino sponsorship. They're our presenting sponsor for this year's event. And then this evening is our largest networking event of the year, which is Business After Hours.
The exhibitors showcase will open to the public today from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Admission is $5, but for children 5 and under, it's free. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, severe weather did not just hit the 4 states as tornadoes tear through parts of the South and leave thousands without power. We'll have the details. Plus, many people run for health reasons, but researchers suggest taking a closer look at the real reasons for running. And Chris has your complete winter storm weather covered, from road conditions to when the 4 states can expect a reprieve. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch this morning, millions of Americans are under tornado watch in the Gulf states. Powerful storms ripped through communities near Houston, Texas yesterday, damaging homes and businesses and causing one senior center to evacuate. Luckily, authorities say there have been no deaths so far. More than 40,000 Texans are still without power. That's according to the website poweroutage.us. Jared Hill reports.
Powerful tornadoes left a path of destruction in multiple communities near Houston Tuesday, ripping the roofs off of homes and businesses, knocking down trees and power lines.
Like chaos, and very loud. The metal was crashing, the glass was breaking out. It was extremely loud.
Seniors at this assisted living center in Deer Park had to evacuate after the building was damaged.
As of right now, we have no injuries that we're aware of from the tornado or any casualties.
Volunteers came to the rescue, moving dozens of the animals from this now uninhabitable shelter in Pasadena, Texas. In other parts of the state, strong winds and heavy rain brought on flooding.
The semis were just blowing a lot of raindrops on me, so it was just hazardous for me.
Meanwhile, snow fell in northern Texas and neighboring Oklahoma.
Hopefully it snows a little bit more so we can keep going.
While snow has already blanketed parts of the upper Northeast this week, this storm system could bring a dusting to the otherwise snowless New York City starting today. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
So far, New York City has now gone more than 320 consecutive days without having measurable snow. The city's record is 332 consecutive days, set back in 2020. That's a look at one of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, we're continuing to track some light snow in part of the area, but that's beginning to let up, so this system is exiting out of here pretty quickly. We could still see a few flurries between now and about 8 o'clock this morning before it gets all the way out of here. We're still dealing with wet and even some slushy roads in areas. We're going to take a look at your complete forecast and area road conditions when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. As the snow begins to let up across the area, what it's leaving behind is some wet and slushy roads out there. Looking at the MoDOT cameras from around the metro area, you can see here on 7th and Garden Grove, these darker swaths here and here. That's some slush on the roadways, and they're obviously wet otherwise. 20th and Rangeline, wet as well, and earlier you could see a little more defined slushiness in that right turn lane there. And again, just wet roads all around. 32nd and Rangeline looking back east, wet roads. And we take a look at the I-44 camera at Rangeline looking back north, and well, you can see wet roads and a little bit of slushiness. Now we've seen plenty of plow crews out there. They're doing their job and they are doing it well, but watch out for those slick spots this morning. Slow down, give yourself plenty of time. Let's take a look at road conditions on the KDOT side of things. You can see where we've got some partially covered roads, even some covered roads around the Parsons area, and then we've got the green, which indicates some wet pavement. So again, plenty of slick spots across southeast Kansas for your morning commute. And as we take a look at the Missouri side, we're looking at pretty similar conditions right now as plow crews continue to get out there and do their job. The pink here, these are covered roads. We've got some partly covered roads around the area, and then we also do have some clear. The green on the Missouri side of the map indicates that the roads are clear. And you can see there are a few clear spots here and there. Give the crews plenty of time to do their job. Give them plenty of space to do their job so that they can get these roads safe for us as we travel throughout today. Still, again, some light snow. Again, snow is so light and so finite that unless it's really heavy, radar has a hard time picking up on it. And so there is still a few flurries flying, but there's not a lot going on. Big chunk of the winter weather advisories dropped this morning, but we still have these ones for extreme southeast Kansas, southwest Missouri through about 9 a.m. And the pink are still winter storm warnings that run through 9 a.m., but I would not be surprised if they get dropped a little early as well. We're going to talk about what happens after the snow moves out, but I wanted to show you this next system coming in on Saturday as we are watching rain late Saturday evening transitioning to a wintry mix, and then maybe even some light snow. And that is not the only chance of wintry weather we have coming up. All right, 32 in Joplin right now. Still reporting, again, some flurries, light snow, northwest breeze at 8, making it feel like 25. Across the area, we're seasonable or slightly above. 32 in Iola, 34 Chanute, Chatopa, and Miami, 32 Neosho, Carthage, Lamar, Nevada, and 33 in Anderson this morning. So because of the wet conditions that we do have across the area, we do have a red light for your morning drive. You have got to slow down. Give yourself plenty of time to get where you're going because the roads are a little deceiving. You hit one of those slushy spots out here and you could easily lose control if you're traveling at a high speed. So give yourself plenty of time. We're going to see some light snow, maybe some flurries continuing through about 8 a.m. We've got a yellow light for your evening commute. It will be mostly cloudy, a bit warmer, but there could still be some slick spots. And again, we've got closing scrolling at the bottom of your screen. For those that are in school today, we're looking at 31 at 7 a.m. with some light snow. And then we're going to be 40 by 3 o'clock, mostly cloudy. We're looking at highs the upper 30s to near 40. We will be breezy, so it'll feel a little bit chillier out there. And as we head into tonight, the clouds will begin to clear, but we drop well below freezing, and that could lead to refreezing as some of the snow melts. Even on the main roads, it could also lead to some of that slush and other things freezing, especially on side roads and rural roads. So be cautious as you head into tonight and tomorrow morning. We're doing all right. Breezy Thursday, looking good Friday. Then we have that system, evening rain Saturday up to 52. We get cold, turns into a wintry mix into Sunday morning, only 29. 18 Sunday night, 37 Monday, 37 Tuesday with more wintry weather on the way. That could last into Wednesday morning. After that, look at this, 27 Thursday, 16 next Friday with a low of 5 Thursday night. So some cold weather on the way. We're back with more right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, a new study looking at mortality rates following surgery for pancreatitis finds a 95% survival rate after the first year. But researchers in Cincinnati found just 63% of those patients live for 10 years, with many patients continuing to smoke, abuse alcohol, or use opioids. And doctors say this finding highlights the need for closer monitoring of pancreatitis patients after surgery. Researchers at NYU are learning more about a so-called mystery illness known as VEXAS syndrome. They say about 15,000 people in the U.S. suffer from the rare disorder that kills about half of those who've been diagnosed. Syndrome often involves unexplained fevers and low blood oxygen levels in patients who have other diseases such as rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, and blood cancer. Researchers hope their findings will raise awareness of the disorder among physicians. And the health benefits of running are well known, but a new study finds some runners become too dependent on getting their miles in. Researchers say some joggers use running to escape unpleasant aspects of their lives or to avoid problems that need to be faced. They urge runners to understand what motivates their exercise. Well, January is Glaucoma Awareness Month, and Dan Lieberman explains who is at risk for the eye disease and what treatment options are available.
Glaucoma is a leading cause of vision loss and blindness in the U.S. It's a disease that damages your eye's optic nerve. About 3 million Americans have glaucoma, but usually there are no early symptoms, so about half of people don't know they have it. Open-angle glaucoma is the most common form and causes increased eye pressure. Anybody can develop glaucoma, but certain groups are at higher risk, including adults over 60 years old, African Americans over age 40, people with diabetes, and people with a family history of the disease. There are some things you can do to prevent vision loss. Get a comprehensive dilated eye exam to detect glaucoma early so you can begin treatment right away. Prescription eye drops can stop the disease from progressing. And it's recommended, even if you're not in a high-risk group, to get your eyes checked by the age of 40. It can help catch glaucoma and other eye diseases sooner. Dan Lieberman, CBS News, New York.
Well, staying at a healthy weight, exercising, controlling blood pressure, and not smoking are all ways to also try to avoid vision loss from glaucoma. Those lifestyle choices can also help prevent type 2 diabetes. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Yeah, we are watching this winter storm begin to exit. In fact, right behind me, you can see MoDOT plow crews, they've been out all morning. Plow crews across the region have been out all morning, doing a pretty good job of keeping roads clear, but there are still some slick spots out there. We'll talk about road conditions coming up in our next half hour. Right now, we're at 32 in Joplin, still reporting some flurries and light snow, feeling like 25. And across the region, we're seeing the snow exit out of the area. We're at 32 Iola, 33 Parsons, 34 Chautauqua, Miami, 33 Neosho, Anderson, and 32 in Lamar and Carthage this morning. MoDOT cameras across the region showing us those wet roads and still some slushiness out there, so slow down, give yourself plenty of time, and that's why we have a red light for your morning drive, as we'll have some light snow flurries starting to taper off through about 8 a.m., and we got slick spots to watch out for, and a yellow light for your drive home, as we could still have some slick spots, especially on side streets and rural roads. Otherwise, we're mostly cloudy and a little bit on the warmer side. Not everybody is out of school today, so for those going, we're looking at light snow at 7 a.m., 31 with some gusty north winds. That wind shifts out of the northwest later, up to 40 by 3 o'clock. Still gusting upwards of about 20, so it'll feel a little bit colder out there. High in Joplin today of about 40, most of us reaching into the upper 30s, mostly cloudy and breezy. Tonight, our big concern is clouds clearing out, we lose that little blanket, and then we drop down well below freezing, which means we could see a lot of refreezing even on the main road. So as you head into tonight and your morning drive tomorrow, just keep that in mind. Slow down. Give yourself plenty of time to get where you're going, because even though it's not snowing, doesn't mean it's not still slick. Our alert day wraps up this morning. As this system gets out of here, we're doing all right Thursday and Friday. Saturday, 52, and then we see evening rain transition to a wintry mix into Sunday morning. Then take a look, another break Monday, then another wintry system by Tuesday of next week into Wednesday morning possible. Down to 13 Wednesday night, 27 Thursday, down to 5, and only 16 by next Friday. We got a lot more coming right up.
Right now at 6, winter weather blankets the 4 states overnight. We've got extended weather coverage all morning long, including live looks from Joplin with our own Amber Jenkins.
And we've got a look at the MoDOT cameras around the metro area, still showing some wet, slushy roads out there. We'll talk road conditions and what the rest of today looks like coming up.
And participants could find the treasure of 110 exhibitors at the 30th annual Joplin Business Expo.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's now 6:29. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So Mother Nature delivered on that snow, but if you love the snow, well, you got bad news. We didn't get as much as was anticipated. If you don't like the snow, look, there goes a plow truck from MoDOT there. But if you don't like the snow, then good news, we didn't get that much. And the great news for kids, especially the ones out of school today, this is the perfect snow to make snowmen and snowballs with. It's a nice, heavy, wet snow. So we're looking pretty good. Taking a look at the MoDOT cameras across the metro area. Again, you saw that plow truck go by. Crews are out doing their best to clear the roads across the area. In fact, there comes another one, but we're still looking at wet spots out there. The roads are slick, and there's still some slushy areas as well, and that slushy stuff can cause you to lose control at a high speed. Taking a look at Kansas road conditions as we zoom into the area. We've got some wet pavements, some partially covered roadways, and still even some covered roadways, especially around the Parsons area. Otherwise, that's what we got to deal with. So make sure you slow down, give yourself plenty of time, and give the plow crews plenty of room to do their work. You can see a good chunk of the state of Missouri as well experiencing this snowfall. And as we zoom into our area, some improvements from this morning. Roughly I-44 and south starting to be clear across the area. But if you get I-44 north, we still have some covered and partly covered roadways. So again, slow down. Give yourself plenty of time to get where you're going. Light snow still falling in some of the area, but a lot of the heavier stuff is out of here. Winter weather advisories have been dropped for a good chunk of the area, but we still have some up there through 9 a.m., and we still have winter storm warnings, believe it or not, through 9 a.m., but I believe some of these may be allowed to expire a little early. We'll get to that later. First, we're at 32 in Joplin, feeling like 26. Still some flurries, light snow out there, wet roadways, slick spots for sure. We look around the region, 32 in Iola, 33 Pittsburgh, Parsons, 34 Chautauqua, Miami, 33 Neosho, Anderson, and 32 in Lamar and Carthage. So those MoDOT cameras showing us where the wet roads are, and we've got plenty of them out there. So a red light for your morning drives. We'll see some light snow and flurries continuing through about 8 a.m. Plenty of slick spots. Again, slow down. Give yourself time to get where you're going. Yellow light for your evening commute because we could still have some slick spots, especially on rural roads and side streets out there. Will be a little warmer, mostly cloudy. For the kids going to school today, we're looking at 31 at 7 a.m. with some light snow and gusty winds. Same this afternoon, but without the snow. Mostly cloudy, 40 degrees by 3 o'clock, but still breezy today. Heading for a high of about 40 in Joplin. And most of us getting into highs, upper 30s to near that 40-degree mark, but it will be breezy, so it's going to feel chilly. Tonight is what we're watching. As we see the clouds clear out, we lose that little thermal blanket, and so our temperatures drop pretty quickly down to 22, and that could lead to refreezing, especially on side roads and rural roads, but even on the main streets where there's those wet spots, that can refreeze, lead to black ice. So even though it's not snowing tonight, when we go into tonight and tomorrow morning, you need to make sure you slow down and give yourself plenty of time again to get where you're going, because there's going to be plenty of slick spots to talk about tomorrow morning as well.
Yeah, today may seem like it'll be the same today as tomorrow, but it could be a completely different story.
Yeah,
even though the precipitation is done.
Exactly, and that's the other part that's deceiving with what we've got is when it starts to refreeze.
How warm are we looking at getting today? Will most of it be gone by tonight?
A good portion of it could be gone by tonight, but that's the thing, is all that melting has got to go somewhere, and so that's where the concern comes. So again, even though we're not getting snow tonight, we're still going to see freezing on some of the roadways, so slow down and give yourself plenty of time.
That's right. All right, thanks, Chris. Well, our own Amber Jenkins is braving the conditions live in Joplin. Good morning, Amber.
Good morning, Tanya. I'm down here at 7th and Range Line in Joplin, and so far, hey, while I'm talking, there goes a plow truck right there. That's good to see, right? But the roads are looking just about the same, very slushy, soggy, you know. And of course, just like Chris was saying earlier, that is underneath that wet snow that can freeze and, you know, can create some black ice. So I want drivers to be aware of that. About 30 minutes ago, the flurries did lighten up, but now 30 minutes later, I am seeing a little bit more flurries. So I don't know if that meaning, you know, expect some more snow. But I do want to say to the kids who are going to school and school hasn't been canceled, just don't think about the snowball fights that are going to be going on, because out here with my cameraman, I noticed that the snow is very formable and shapeable, and I threw a snowball at him, and now he's threatening to throw a snowball back at me to get some payback. But I do want to remind the kids that, hey, remember to bundle up if you're going to school. Remember to wear your gloves. Remember to keep that jacket on, even though we know how parents can be a little naggy at times, but it's for the greater good.
All right. Our own Amber Jenkins out there at 7th and Range Line in Joplin. We'll check back in with her in just a few minutes. Missouri Governor Mike Parson signed an executive order ahead of the winter weather. The order activates the Missouri National Guard. They'll be brought in to help local authorities responding to winter weather calls. The new order will expire at the end of February unless terminated earlier or extended. On Tuesday, the Joplin Chamber of Commerce kicked off the 30th Annual Business Expo. Nearly 110 exhibitors were on hand at Downstream Casino Resort. Tuesday focused on connecting businesses with each other, and today will give consumers a chance to check out those businesses.
To come out and connect with members of the community so they can educate those individuals on the different resources and services that are provided in the 4 states area. And it's also a great opportunity for business-to-business relationship building.
Well, the theme for this year's expo is Find Your Treasure in Joplin. Expo marks the spot. It'll be open to the public today from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. That's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News, just when you thought it was safe to go back to the pumps, experts say gas prices are back on the rise. And Chris will have a look at your latest forecast when we return. More Real News in the Morning. We'll be right back. In Consumer Watch this morning, the Federal Trade Commission has ordered Credit Karma to pay $3 million for misleading customers. Agency alleges the personal finance company used so-called pre-approvals to deceive consumers into applying for credit cards and products they were not eligible for. The FTC says that wasted consumers' time and could have negatively impacted their credit scores. Credit Karma pushed back in a strongly worded statement. It insists it fundamentally disagrees with the FTC's allegations and called them baseless. The Department of Justice and 8 states sued Google on Tuesday, claiming the internet giant has an illegal monopoly over online advertising. In a court filing, the federal government alleges Google uses its dominance to funnel customers to its own advertising technology at the expense of other advertisers and publishers. In a statement, Google accused the DOJ of trying to pick winners and losers in the highly competitive advertising technology sector and called its argument flawed. Well, the price at the pump is starting to tick up again. AAA says it's due to higher demand based on milder temperatures and a rise in the cost of oil per barrel. Monday, average prices for a gallon of gas were up 12 cents compared to last week. The president of Ticketmaster's parent company was in the hot seat on Capitol Hill today. Members of the Senate Judiciary Committee criticized the company for the botched pre-sale of Taylor Swift's concert tour. Ticketmaster blamed computer bots. Nicole D'Antonio is at the Capitol with more.
We apologize to the fans. We apologize to Ms. Swift.
The president and CFO of Live Nation Entertainment, which owns Ticketmaster, told the Senate Judiciary Committee a cyber attack crashed its website when Taylor Swift concert tickets went on sale.
We were then hit with 3 times the amount of bot traffic that we'd ever experienced.
Outside Tuesday's hearing, Swift fans protested.
No price gouging!
Penny Harrison was one of 3.5 million people trying to buy tickets in November, losing her tickets after spending 9 hours in the online queue.
We're mad. There needs to be a change.
They're joining some lawmakers in demanding more competition, and they're angry over the 2010 merger between Ticketmaster and Live Nation. According to data in a consumer lawsuit, Ticketmaster controls about 70% of the market for concert ticketing and live events. Senator Amy Klobuchar says the company also owns or controls many of the major venues and imposes fees as high as 75% of the cost of the ticket.
This is all a definition of monopoly because Live Nation is so powerful that it doesn't even need to exert pressure.
Live Nation's CEO argued Ticketmaster has lost market share since the merger. CBS News has learned the company is now the target of a Department of Justice antitrust investigation. Morgan Harper is leading a coalition of organizations, artists, and fans, pressuring the Justice Department to separate Live Nation from Ticketmaster.
They can sue to say, hey, this merger isn't working out and maintaining competition like we thought it would, and so we're going to impose what are called structural remedies to break up the company.
Ticketmaster has denied any anti-competitive practices. Nicole D'Antonio, CBS News, Washington.
Well, the head of Live Nation also testified Ticketmaster could prevent the November meltdown by staggering sales over a longer period of time and better communicate to fans hoping to get tickets that it might not happen. That's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, we're starting to see the snow wrap up across the area, looking at about 2.5 inches officially in Joplin. We're at 32, still seeing some light snow, light flurries out there, feeling like 26 degrees. Still got wet roads, so make sure you slow down, give yourself time. We had 32 in Iola, 33 Parsons, 34 Miami, 32 Neosho, Carthage, and in Lamar this morning. MoDOT cameras across the metro area show that the roads are wet, but they're looking clearer, but still watch out for slick spots this morning, and that's why we do have this red light for your morning commute, as we will see those slick spots, some slushy spots that can be pretty dangerous, and even, as Amber's been talking about, some black ice out there. So just give yourself time. We're looking at those light snow and flurries tapering off by about 8 a.m. Yellow light for your drive home, as even though we are mostly cloudy and a little warmer, we could still have some slick spots, especially on side streets and rural roads. All right, kids going to school. For those that are in school today, we're looking at 31 by 7 a.m. with maybe some flurries, light snow out there, and then we're warming up to 40 degrees by 3 o'clock under mostly cloudy skies, but we're going to have gusty north winds as well. We're looking at highs up into the upper 30s to near that 40-degree mark, mostly cloudy, breezy. Tonight, clouds begin to clear out. And that removes our thermal blanket, and that allows us to get quite cold, down to 22. So refreezing is also an issue that we've got to keep an eye on as well. So tonight into tomorrow morning, again, slow down, give yourself plenty of time to get where you're going. We warm up heading into Saturday up to 52. Light rain or rain chances in the evening turn into a wintry mix Saturday night into Sunday. Then we're back to decent on Monday, and we have another system that could bring us some wintry weather by next Tuesday that we're keeping an eye on. We've got our daily celebration of birthdays and anniversaries on the way, but first, we're going to take a look at what's happening on CBS Mornings.
Hello to you, I'm Gail Kane. Coming right up on CBS Mornings, Indianapolis Colts owner, that's Jim Irsay, gives Vlad a look at his guitar collection and why he thinks it should be shared. All I know is Vlad was very excited about this piece. That's coming right up on CBS Mornings.
We take this time to honor today's four-state hero, Sergeant Roland Ludwig. Joplin, Missouri native saw wartime duty from May of 1943 to August of 1943 as part of the 5th Army Panther Division. To Sergeant Roland Ludwig, a Purple Heart recipient, we thank you, today's four-state hero.
All right, time for some snowy Wednesday birthdays, and we are going to begin in Fort Scott with Jonathan Ballou turning 1, and Jonathan loves watching Doug Heddy, and I'm sure he's loving watching Doug Heddy right now. Happy birthday, Jonathan.
All right, Grayson Jennings celebrating 1 year old as well. What a cutie there. Grayson is in Joplin, Missouri.
And we've got Brinley Castle in Chautauqua, also known as the Catfish Queen of Chautauqua, celebrating birthday number 6. Happy birthday.
What a title there. I like it. Madeline Russell turning 11 years old this year. There she is looking cool. Madeline is up in Fort Scott.
And Chandler Craze celebrating birthday number 14 in Carl Junction today. Happy birthday, Chandler.
All right, Cheyenne Heckert in Frontenac celebrating the big 2-0 this year. Happy birthday, Cheyenne.
And we've got Nathan Watson turning 28 over in Opolis. Happy birthday, Nathan.
All right, Sophia Del Silva celebrating the big 3-0 in Riverton. I've got a note here that says twin mom and middle school teacher. She's a twin. She's a mother and a middle school teacher, as I understand, so I guess she shares a birthday too. With love from Timberly and Willow.
I think she's a mom of twins. And I bet Timberly and Willow are the twins.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay, sorry, I didn't decipher the note well.
That's
My bad, Sophia.
That's
okay,
all right.
She's the mother of twins. All right, all right.
And we've got Kobe Pingree celebrating birthday number 34 in Arma with lots of love from your family. Happy birthday, Kobe.
All right, and Brady Green is celebrating birthday number 37 this year in Weir, Kansas with love from your family.
We've got Daphne Price celebrating birthday number 40 in Sarcoxie. Happy birthday, Daphne.
All right, and here we go. These are twins. Yes, Megan Baker and Ann Goody are both celebrating 40 this year. It's a big one in both Oswego and Riverton. Megan's on the left there. She's a teacher at the Oswego Elementary School. And guess what? Ann is a teacher at Riverton High School. We thank you both.
All right, and we've got Tracy Belcher in Girard celebrating a birthday, also a teacher. She's the 5th grade teacher at Haderline in Girard. Happy birthday.
All right, Adeline teacher, all right. And we've also got Garrett Newman on the list celebrating a birthday today.
All right, and to make this list even more spectacular, you need to send us your birthdays. Tanya, where do they need to send them to?
You can send them to either of those emails, birthdays with an S at KOAMTV.com or birthdays at KOAMNewsNow.com.
All right, and hey, I know a lot of folks are checking out our website to see if school is canceled today, and I'm sure there's a lot of kids out there being disappointed that school is not canceled in some places. But while you're there, take time to sign up for our KOAM Birthday Club. You get great deals from local businesses. You also get a special birthday message from your friends here at KOAM. So just sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club today at KOAMNewsNow.com. All right, here's what's coming up when we make the move over to Fox 14 at 7. Amber Jenkins spent the day learning what it's like to be a firefighter. She's got that story for us when KOAM Morning News switches over to Fox 14 at 7 a.m. All right, taking a look at the MoDOT cameras across the metro area. You can see the roads are still on the wet side, but plow crews have been super busy this morning, not just in Joplin, but across the region. And we are starting to see them a little clearer, but they're still wet, still some slushy spots, so slow down. Give yourself plenty of time to get where you're going. Road conditions on the Kansas side of things. We still have some wet pavement, which is the green. Some partially covered in blue and even some covered roadways still around the Parsons area this morning. So slow down, give yourself plenty of time, give the plow crews plenty of room to get where they're going. Good chunks of Missouri dealing with some of this wintry weather as well, but road conditions in our area improving. Long and south of I-44, we're looking at clear conditions. Joplin area and points north, with the exception of I-49, are still partly covered. So again, slow down, give yourself time to get where you're going. Light snow flurries still falling around the area, maybe a pinch heavier snow off in the western part of our viewing area. Still have winter weather advisories in the purple through 9 a.m. and winter storm warnings in the pink through 9 a.m. as well. But again, wouldn't be surprised if those get dropped. We're at 32 in Joplin, feels like 26 with some flurries still falling out there. Across the area, chilly of course, but not bad. We're actually above average, believe it or not. 32 Iola, 34 Chetopa, Miami, 32 Neosho, Carthage, Lamar, and 33 in Nevada. Again, back to the MoDOT cameras across the metro area. Wet roads, some slushy spots. That's why we do have a red light for your morning drive. You need to slow down, give yourself plenty of time, especially if you're traveling on rural routes, side streets, as we still deal with some light snow through about 8 o'clock. And a yellow light for the drive home. Even though we're mostly cloudy and a bit warmer, we could still be dealing with some slick spots out there again, especially side roads, rural roads. Kids going to school today, 31 at 7 a.m. with some of that light snow. Then we're looking at 40 by 3 o'clock with mostly cloudy skies. Heading for highs upper 30s to near 40 today, mostly cloudy and breezy, so it's going to feel a little cooler. And then tonight we lose our thermal blanket in those clouds. Temperatures drop quickly down to 22, and that could lead to refreezing tonight. So tonight into tomorrow morning, slow down. Give yourself plenty of time to get where you're going. We got more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. The head-on crash happened on US 400 Monday night, about 4 miles west of US 59 in Labette County, Kansas. Authorities say 30-year-old Valerie Montgomery of Parsons was driving west on US 400 when she went left of the center line and hit another car head-on. She and the baby in her car died from the crash. The baby was less than a year old. 2 people in the other car were injured. One suffered minor injuries and the other suffered a suspected serious injury. There were 3 minors in that car as well. No word on their injuries. On Tuesday, the Joplin Chamber of Commerce kicked off its 30th annual Business Expo. Nearly 110 exhibitors were on hand at Downstream Casino Resort. Tuesday focused on connecting businesses with each other, and today will give consumers a chance to check out those businesses. Some Southeast Kansas future business leaders had a chance to showcase their skills on Tuesday. The Girard High School Future Business Leaders of America hosted a competition at Pitt State. 330 students from 18 schools competed in a wide variety of business-related and workplace events, and some students got a jump start. The Joplin Salvation Army is at 72% of its fundraising goal to keep the program running. The nonprofit organization says it's $126,000 shy of its $450,000 goal. If they do not meet the goal, they will have to make adjustments. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
Well, after the snow exits this morning, we're looking pretty decent. We're going to be breezy, but highs pushing upper 30s to near 40 under mostly cloudy skies. However, the clouds begin to clear tonight, and that's going to lead to temperatures dropping rapidly down to 22, and that could easily lead to refreezing of the melted precipitation and on side roads and rural roads. So be cautious tonight into tomorrow morning. We're looking good Thursday and Friday. A system Saturday night turns from rain to a wintry mix into Sunday morning, and then we're watching another wintry system by Tuesday of next week, and then we get much colder following that one.
Well, coming up today at noon, we are making buffalo cauliflower in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings, and ahead on CBS Mornings, part 2 of the exclusive CBS News investigation into the U.S. Marine accused of kidnapping a child from an Afghan couple.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. And this morning, we've got the K-State Extension Service in studio this morning for another Wildcat Wednesday, and we're going to learn everything we need to know about youth entrepreneurship.
Plus, KOAM's Shagun Bondale tells us about a Joplin School Board meeting he attended where they added a student to an advisory position to the board.
All right.
That's going to wrap it up for us for now. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning, 5 a.m.
All right, and we're going to do it again today at noon.